Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And in this series of videos I'm going to be building the DeAgostini build your own X-Wing. So I'm really excited to be able to build this. I want to thank the company DeAgostini for reaching out to me and offering to send me the subscription. So this is going to be a series of videos. I only have issues 1 to 4 for this video, and we're going to build what we have, and then obviously as the weeks and months go on and I get all the other releases, then I will be doing sort of maybe videos every 4 or 5 issues so we can actually see it being built. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the video, and hopefully you'll enjoy monitoring the progress of the build. I'm pretty sure that issue 1 is still out for sale in places like WH Smith in the UK, and I'm sure you guys in the States can get it as well. From what I can see, the DeAgostini models are, you know, amazing once built. They're ultra detailed. They've got flashing lights, LEDs, moving parts, all that kind of stuff. Another friend of mine on Twitter, he built the Millennium Falcon, and it was really interesting to see the progress that was making over the year or so, or however long it took him to build it. But once it was built, it looked absolutely amazing. So I'm really looking forward to building this. I've never built one of these kind of models before, so it's new to me. As I said, I'm really looking forward to it. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to try out a new thing. I'm going to try out a time lapse, so you don't have to sit there watching me build it really slowly. I'm going to hopefully do a nice time lapse so you can watch it being built. And then at the end of the video, we'll just take a look at what has been built from the first 4 issues. As I mentioned before, I will be doing videos in sort of 4 or 5 segments. So this one, I do have the first 4 issues. Okay then, so before we get onto the build and the time lapse, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open all the packets and show you the magazines that you get. You do get some extra bits as well with some nice posters and things like that. So I'm just going to flick through the magazine so you can quickly see what's in the magazine, and then straight after that, we're going to get onto the build. So before we do that, if you want to just drop a like down on this video, thank you very much. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Right, so let's crack it open and check out the magazines and the building instructions before we get onto the actual build. All right, so this is the magazine that comes with issue 1. And as you can see, it's got some nice Ralph McQuarrie information there as we go through. Some images about the concept of the design. Bit on Luke Skywalker, so all very informative, which is quite nice. Bit more there, and obviously I will go back and read all this. And then obviously at the back you do have the building instructions. So it looks like in this one we're going to be doing a little bit of R2-D2 and some of the canopy and maybe one of the laser cannons, as you can see there. Hopefully it's not going to be too difficult for me to do. I'm not a model expert as such, but it seems that you get all the tools, little screwdrivers and stuff that you need. So that was issue 1. Also with issue 1, obviously you got the parts. You also got this series guide. So DeAgostini series guide. And this opens up. So that's what it's going to look like when it's fully built, which looks amazing. And then you get a nice bigger image, if I can just fit that in. Sorry about the glare there, of the completed thing with all the details of what it can do and what have you. So that was quite nice. And something else that I wasn't expecting, which looks really nice, is actually the blueprints of the X-Wing. So this, again, this is going to be far too big for me to open on screen, but this is like a full blueprint layout of the X-Wing, which is really nice, lovely. That will look pretty good on the wall, I reckon. And it's basically the same for all the other issues. Get a nice magazine. So here's issue 2. We can open it up in there, and again you can see some early designs, concepts for the X-Wing. Completely different design of it there. Bit about Biggs Darklighter. So this looks really nice actually, the information that they give you here. You can see there. And then of course at the back again you have the building guide, assembling guide. So that's issue 2. I'm not going to go through the other issues, I'm just going to get on with it and build it. So we've got 4 issues to build, and as I mentioned, we're going to go on a time lapse, and hopefully yeah, hopefully it'll look pretty good. I've never done it before, I've never done a time lapse before, so hopefully it'll look pretty good. Right, let's get on with it. Okay, so that was slightly trickier than I anticipated. So there's a lot of tiny, weeny, small parts, and if I've got one major complaint about this series so far is that you're expected to keep very small parts waiting until you get the next sort of issue. As you can see, I've got pieces here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, and obviously including that tiny little piece, waiting for the next release of the next edition of the magazine. Now obviously there's no guarantee the next edition of the magazine is actually going to utilize those pieces, which is a bit of a shame. So I've got to find a nice little sealable plastic box or something just to keep those sealed and ready for the next one. So as you can see, here's one of the laser cannons, it looks like, which looks pretty cool, and obviously that's going to light up somehow. That's going to be like a battery pack for it, which is going to be pretty cool. So nice weathering on it and everything. It's looking pretty detailed, which is nice. R2-D2 is now complete. Slight complaint about R2-D2 is that the piece of plastic, which is like a rod which runs all the way up through the center of R2's body, sticks out the top, and his dome head is supposed to then slot on the top. Now the problem that mine had is that that rod was actually not hollowed out, so I had to get a drill and hollow out the piece of plastic so that the head could then squish on. Now obviously I couldn't get the hole exact for the piece, so I've had to glue it, but it doesn't matter because if you turn the bottom there, his head does spin. So now it's glued on. The other slight complaint was this tiny piece of red trans plastic there is the tiniest, weeniest piece of plastic you've ever seen in your life. It was an absolute nightmare to get in there, and when I did get it in there, it kept on dropping out every time I was trying to put other bits of plastic in there. So I've actually had to glue that bit in as well. It didn't fit in there properly, but I'm glad to say that I've put some batteries in the little battery pack, and I'm glad to say that my R2-D2 does actually work. So if we just put him on there, you can see I don't know if you can see that with the lights, he does actually light up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off these lights just so you can get a better idea. It's going to go dark for a second, so just so you get a better idea of how R2 lights up. So here we go. And there you go. So there he is all lit up, and you can see that the light comes nicely through these bits. Now I'm pretty sure that R2 will be sunk down into the X-Wing, so you won't see it lighting up his body like that. The lights will just come nicely through his head. And you can see some lights on the back there, which are pretty cool. So all in all, that's a pretty nice R2-D2. Just turn these lights back on. So yeah, so my first impressions are that it's a lot more fiddly than I thought it was going to be. Some tiny little screws, tiny pieces of plastic, but all in all, it's looking really nice. So I've got one of those there. I've got R2-D2 fully built with the battery pack. Got some extra little bits there, and obviously we had the chassis, if you like, there with some bits that you had to screw onto the body. So you can see that and this bit's a really weighty piece of metal. So you know this thing's going to be a quality build, and obviously this is going to probably attach onto there or something. Obviously that's going to lift up, I presume, but obviously I can't wait to get the future editions and build the whole thing. It's going to look amazing once it's done, and judging by the size of that cockpit there, it's going to be a sizable model. So anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below of this build. I hope you like the speed builds or time lapse or whatever they're called. It's the first time I've done it. I had to pause it a few times because some of the pieces and some of the builds are, you know, it is quite tricky. So as I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think. Thank you very much for watching as per usual, and we'll see you on the next one.